A teenage girl tapes her own face back together with Scotch tape, and somehow, that is the least disturbing thing about Amy Wang's new film. Slanted, the directorial debut making waves in indie film circuits, opens on a disarmingly simple image. Joan Wang, a Chinese-born high school student played by Shirley Chen, sitting alone in her bedroom with a clothespin clipped to the bridge of her nose, scrolling through social media before she opens a filter app on her phone that digitally transforms her face, wider eyes, flushed cheeks, voluminous frosted hair into something that reads unmistakably as white. The camera holds on her expression for just a beat too long. Wang doesn't explain it. She doesn't have to. Joan lives with her immigrant parents, played by Vivian Wu and Fang Du, in a small American town that the film codes with near satirical precision. The local coffee shop is named Freedom Beans. The most popular beer brand is called America Light and is advertised on billboards by buxom women in bikinis. And the local high school's mascot appears to wear what can only be described as a clan robe. This is the America that Joan moves through every single day, cafeteria to hallway to bedroom, quietly erasing herself to survive it. She refuses to speak Mandarin at home, secretly trades her mother's lovingly packed Chinese lunches to her best friend Brinda, played by Maitreyi Ramakrishnan with warmth and precision, and fixates on a single, glittering aspiration, becoming prom queen. The film's central pivot arrives when the reigning social queen, influencer and school elite Olivia Hammond, portrayed by Amelie Zilber, abruptly withdraws from the prom queen race, citing an acting job, though the film notes, dryly, that she never seems to miss a single day of school. Joan seizes the opening. A home bleach job nudges her into Olivia's orbit. And while her new circle leverages her proximity to a Chinese-owned nail salon for discount negotiations without a trace of self-awareness, Joan begins receiving direct messages from a shadowy beauty company called Ethnos. Their pitch is simple and terrifying. They can make her white, permanently. Wang, who has spoken about drawing on her own experiences as an Asian-American woman navigating predominantly white spaces, does not linger on the logistics of how a working-class teenager affords experimental transnational surgery, nor does the film explain the underlying science. What it does instead is commit fully to the metaphor. Within hours of the procedure, Joan, now rechristened Jo Hunt, emerges, played by Mckenna Grace, currently also appearing in Scream 7, as a perky, blonde, thoroughly whitewashed version of the girl she used to be. The film signals the transformation not only through casting but through a literal change in aspect ratio, switching from the boxier Academy format to a wider 16:9 frame, as if Joan's new world has simply expanded to accommodate her. The film's sharpest comedic instincts live in this stretch. A testimonial video from a woman who recently underwent Ethnos's ethnic modification procedure features her lamenting that in the past not a single NBA player ever looked her way. A dream sequence, framed as a faux karaoke video titled "It's Good to Be White," cycles through stock footage of people in khakis, swirling wine glasses and being nuzzled by golden retrievers, while lyrics scroll across the bottom of the screen. The police are a source of safety. I never feel in danger. History is on our side. Never feel like a stranger. The lunch table dynamics are merciless in their specificity. Every girl in Olivia's circle eats the same salad from matching Tupperware containers, dressing on the side, without variation or apparent joy. Critics have noted, however, that Slanted begins to buckle under the weight of its own ambitions as it moves into its second half. The satirical edge that makes the film's opening act so propulsive gradually gives way to a more earnest register that struggles to coexist with the broader comedic strokes already established. Joan's scenes with her parents, who are quietly devastated by their daughter's transformation, her father telling her he can no longer recognize her grandmother's eyes when he looks at her face, carry genuine emotional weight, but the film places them against a backdrop of Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift posters, without the tonal clarity to make the juxtaposition land as intended. The body horror dimension of the story, which the film's marketing leaned into heavily, ultimately remains underdeveloped. When Jo begins experiencing facial deformities, lesions, drooping skin, what one critic described as an extreme form of Ozempic face, the narrative grows uncertain about whether these symptoms represent a life-altering crisis or a temporary side effect to be managed with medicinal cream and literal tomate. Scotch tape. That ambiguity might have worked as a comment on how the beauty industry minimizes harm, but the film never fully commits to that reading. Where Slanted is most undeniably alive is in Shirley Chen's performance during the film's first half. Her Joan carries every contradictory impulse of the immigrant assimilation experience, shame and love in the same glance at her mother, defiance and desperation in the same conversation with Brinda, and grounds the film's more outlandish conceits in something genuinely felt. Comparisons to Dee Dee, the 2024 coming-of-age film, are not entirely off base. Both films locate their emotional authority in performance rather than spectacle. The film has drawn inevitable comparisons to Coralie Fargat's The Substance, whose grand body horror finale set a high bar for the genre's theatrical excess. Slanted, by contrast, scales its climax down considerably, a choice that reads less as subversion and more as restraint the film has not fully earned. It also invites comparisons to Jordan Peele's Get Out for its architecture of racial satire, though critics have observed that Wang's film does not dig nearly as deep into the systemic implications of its central conceit, often circling the same observations without advancing them. What remains, when the credits roll, is a film that is genuinely ambitious, intermittently brilliant, and ultimately caught between the multiple versions of itself it wanted to be a condition that, given its subject matter, might be the most honest thing about it. Amy Wang has made a debut that announces a filmmaker with a sharp eye, a personal voice, and a willingness to go somewhere most mainstream American cinema will not. Whether Slanted fully delivers on that promise is almost beside the point. The conversation it is starting is one that is long overdue. What do you think? Does a film need to nail its ending to be worth watching, or is a bold premise enough to carry it? Have you ever felt caught between two identities the way Joan does in Slanted? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this kind of deep dive film coverage is what you are here for, make sure you like this, subscribe so you never miss a release, and share it with someone who loves cinema that actually has something to say.